Hello, and welcome to this episode of Hammering Down. I'm your host, Kayla Hodges, and I'm hoping you're having a great day. So Birmingham Legion FC wins 3-2 versus North Carolina FC, and it was a fun one. It was a very fun one. And this is where we have to just kind of discuss that things are getting so much better. In terms of performances, I don't think this is the best performance Legion has had. I actually think that Legion's 1-1 draw in the Jägermeister Cup versus India 11, where they lost on penalties, I think is actually their best performance. But I do think that this match showed you what it can be, what this team can be. And if you missed the last film study that I did, which a lot of you did, just to be honest, because I released the videos. Let's talk about Protective Stadium, and a lot of people watched that. So some of you did not go watch the film site, and that's fine. But I kind of showed you where things were starting to click and where moments were starting to happen, where I was very impressed. And while the match did not end well, in fact, it was one of the sloppiest matches we've seen in the midfield in that match versus Rhode Island. The match versus North Carolina was great. And so I want to tell you off the bat, in terms of transitions, and transitions have been a word used a lot. If you've been listening to me or if you've been reading things by Timothy Bellin, which you should be, um, the word ruthlessness gets thrown out a lot. And that word comes from a post match interview with Mark Briggs, and it was the Charleston Battery match where the match ended 0-0. And for all intents and purposes, it's a great result with one of the best attacks that this league has to offer. If you look at names on paper, arguably the best attack ever. I wanted to throw it out there. And they kept it to a 0-0 draw. But the word that Coach Briggs used was ruthlessness, that there was a lack of ruthlessness. And this word is going to become I think the calling card for this season. This team is going to play well when they are ruthless. And there's a little bit of what does that actually mean? Is it taking the shot on the first chance? Is it bodying someone? Because I mean, Briggs has said he wants to play nasty, dirty football, right? He wants to be horrible to play against, in his own words. And so is ruthlessness bodying someone to try to create a goal, risking a foul to try to get a chance on goal? Whatever it means to Briggs, I think you saw it on both sides, good and bad, versus North Carolina, which Legion end up not being ruthless and they go down 1-0. And we'll talk about that moment. It was honestly a fantastic ball and a great finish. I thought it was a really nice moment from North Carolina where they were ruthless. And then we see the ruthlessness come out from Birmingham. And at the very end of the match, Legion gave up a goal where it looked like what we saw from the beginning of the season, which was a little bit lazy. It wasn't a 90-minute performance like we saw against Indy. This was a 89-minute and 30-second performance. There were 30 seconds where the team looked like they switched off, and both chances and both times, North Carolina made them pay. That's the level of this league. That is the level of player, and that's how quickly it can happen. So without further ado, let's go ahead and get into this film study. So we're going to go ahead and start off with this with our free kick that was in the second minute. And just a couple things to point out here. So it doesn't really get past the first line, which is great, but we see here that there was a North Carolina, I believe that's Rafa Mitzkin, over on this right-hand side, left all by himself. I'm not sure who was supposed to be there, but someone left him all by himself. It was, I mean, it was a nice header out, easy. But I wanted to talk, this is our first instance of transitions, and while it's a short field transition, look at the recovery time. They were able to, Turnbull was able to get over there and block off any chance. And so was Moses Mensah. I just want to tell you earlier on in the season, heck, even 2 weeks ago, this is probably a goal. I want you to look at the screen. That was probably a goal or a cross across the net. And instead, it was a quick recovery and the defense shut it down. Does it into another corner kick? Yes, but I would rather have a corner kick than a goal scored against. Here's another moment where you kind of see that quick transition time. Okay. So what you end up getting here is Trejo's pressing down and then a press by Lasso. This is awesome press by Lasso, by the way. The press down by Trejo, where he's just kind of following the runner, press in, force the ball inside. Lasso knows there's only one place this ball can go, does a really nice job of winning the ball off and goes over to Damas, where Damas is able to start the counterattack. And Lasso's over on the left hand side, but he sees Trejo coming. And while it doesn't exactly work out, check out this. The press is going at him again. Does it work out? No. But check this out. Here's a defensive transition. Watch how quickly this team gets back into shape. Bang. Legion did not turn this ball more than 5 seconds ago, and they already have 5 men behind the ball. I'm telling you, go watch the film study from a few weeks ago, and you are not going to see this level of organization. The transitions are here. You are facing a one-on-one from a winged area as opposed to a 1v1 in the middle of the park. This is what we're talking about. First off, look at how fast defense turned into attack for Legion. Okay. So ball's touchdown. Trejo forces the ball to go into the middle. On defense, bang, attack. 1 Mississippi, 2 Mississippi, 3 Mississippi, 4 Mississippi, 5 Mississippi. And then right here, we're in the final third. It does not take long. And yes, it turns into an attacking opportunity from North Carolina. But by the time that Legion are out of position, they're quickly back there. This does not happen a few weeks ago. This is an improvement, a vast improvement. Not on top of that, players diving to get in front of the ball. Again, we talked about with Briggs, there were players willing to put their bodies on the line against Tulsa because it was a Jägermeister Cup match. And I asked Coach, is that why you felt like players were willing to put their body on the line? We have seen twice now where players have put their body on the line to just stop a cross from getting in. We are 5 minutes in this match. We've seen it twice, both times being Turnbull. This is a massive improvement. So here we see a corner kick opportunity. I don't really remember why I put this one in here. Corner kick goes in. This is why. It was a good punch out, which this is something we noticed with Delgado a little bit. He's not been catching a lot of these corners, and it's hard. Don't get me wrong, it's very difficult. But I think this is Delgado's biggest place that he can improve right now is on these set piece chances. It's better to punch than to catch and you drop it and you don't feel safe. But as a professional goalkeeper, am I punching this away as an amateur goalkeeper? Yes. Yes, I am. But if you're a professional goalkeeper, this has to be a catch. But that said, it ends up being another scoring opportunity where, check this out, again, more bodies being put on the line by Legion. This is defensive stoutness, this willingness to get in front of the ball and just be nasty in the box that we did not see out of Birmingham earlier this year. This is awesome. You are not seeing this from Birmingham earlier this year. You are just not seeing this level of grittiness in the box from Birmingham earlier this year. Watch it again. Ball comes in, and there is a clear chance. 3 players convene on one guy. Yes, technically you leave someone open at the back post, but if this ball is able to get through those guys, the tap in is what it is. This is an awesome moment defensively. Now let's check out what was really been the bread and butter, and this is Briggs's bread and butter, going down these winged areas into half spaces. Here you have a ball that's going through from Turnbull, and Turnbull plays in through Pasher. Pasher picks his head up, just goes to the byline, floats one to the back post, doesn't really work out. But again, check this out. I mean, this is what you expect from a Briggs team. The transition again happens so fast. So fast. Check this out. You see Turnbull again. Plays the ball through, cuts inside, has 3 players on him, knows that he can play in through Pasher. Pasher's able to get his head up, and it's not the best cross to the back post, but it is what it is. This is stuff that we were going to see all night. So this ball goes over to Lasso, and this ball is not quite what it needs to be, but check out the press. The press that you're going to see later on. Look at Damas. He goes through, and Damas uh, ends up forcing McGuire into a sub-bar pass because the press comes in from Pasher, forces the ball all the way back to the goalkeeper. McGuire gets his foot to it, but Delgado's coming in. He has to take this. He has to take this kick out fast. And what happens? Mensah's able to win it back. It gets down to Trejo. We see how the goal is going to get scored later on in this match in the 7th minute, the 8th minute. Press forces it back to the goalkeeper. Press onto the goalkeeper, forces a poor moment, and it's instantly another scoring opportunity for Legion. Trejo's able to work through the middle now into Enzo, who Enzo just tries to chip it in, doesn't quite work out. But again, you're going to see these moments. And check this out as well. We have Turnbull already seeing that this ball is not going to be won. He is darting in to press this. Is it a miss kick? Yes, but Turnbull's there. He's able to create another scoring opportunity. That is ruthlessness. That is ruthlessness. That is relentlessness. Easy for me to say. That is, I mean, this is just an improvement. Playing it out of the back, we saw when I talk about how fast things can happen, and there's a little bit of people who don't like it when teams play out of the back, and you're going to see why with Jake McGuire's Howler. But this is why you do it. Watch this. Ball goes out to Jake Roof. Roof over to Turnbull. Turnbull is going to cut inside, is able to dribble around, now over to Tyler Pasher, who's able to get a ball through, or sorry, now the ball's over to Pasher. Turnbull. I mean, look at this. This is liquid stuff. And I'm just going to kind of look at the clock really fast. From the time that this kick is taken, it's 8:08 on the clock here, and ball goes over to Suarez, or now Suarez, and then ball goes out to Turnbull. Turnbull over to Pasher. Pasher back over to Turnbull. And it is just 1-2 all the way up the wing. And right here, clearly the attack stops, but that's how fast it happens. And North Carolina's reeling. I want you to notice just how fast they were actively trying to recover from this. They were ready to press. I mean, North Carolina's pressing in pretty hard. That if this happens just a little bit quicker, this is a massive scoring opportunity. If this happens just even a second quicker, but that's how fast this happens. That's why you build up from the back. Even so, here's one of those long balls into the half space that we talked about earlier. When we talk about Briggs, this is what we've been talking about a lot. These long balls into this half space. So here's Suarez. He plays this one long. And it doesn't quite work out because North Carolina knew that Briggs wanted to do this. So they played a deeper line. They started their back line a little bit farther back, trying to stop this from happening. But the second half of this play and the second half of a Briggs team, it's not just long balls over the top. It's also pressing the crap out of somebody if you don't win the ball. So check this out. Header up, win the ball. And they do. Instant win. It's they're locked in, and now it's a scoring opportunity. 2 players on. You have Turnbull, you have Pasher. Both of them are on one guy, able to win the ball, and it's a scoring opportunity. And this ends up going into Damas, whose touch kind of eludes him. But this is why it's dangerous. These long balls into these winged areas are dangerous for this reason as well. It's more than just we have fast players who can take advantage of this. It is they beat us, but we are going to beat them because we're going to press. We're going to be nasty. We're going to be just dirty. And they're ready for these chances to try to score. That's why you do it. Here's a fun moment for me. I liked this. This is why I think Delgado is special. I think Fernando Delgado is a special, special player, and this is one of those reasons. This is not an easy moment, but he has a player coming in, and he is on his inside of his own 6-yard box, and he places a perfect ball onto the wing, and it creates a counterattacking opportunity. Is the final ball from Pasher and Adamas too long? Yes. But I mean, this is an 18-year-old playing grown man football. And just watch what he does. He knows that he's about to be under pressure. He knows he does not have long. I would have turned and fired and just passed this thing as fast as I could. He takes the touch. He sees how much time he has. That is risky, man. That is so risky, and it's pinpoint. It's as perfect as it gets, and it creates a counterattacking opportunity. Fernando Delgado is a special, special player. I just want you to watch it again without me even really saying that much about this. I, I just without pausing it as much as I am. I just want you to watch this. Just watch. Trejo to Lasso back over to AJ, and he's under pressure. He takes the extra touch to give just a little bit longer for the play to open up, and it does. And North Carolina was out of position. It was just a poor final ball in the end, but Delgado's a special, special player. Here's another fun moment where we have Lasso, and here's a nice ball. Check this out. Lasso has been really good at this. North Carolina is in a good condensed form, but because they're playing this condensed block, and you can see them all in blue, it's going to leave somebody in the wings wide open. They know this. And so Lasso picks his head up, and it's just a nice ball in. Look how much space he has. And this is not an easy ball. Like, this is not an easy ball whatsoever. I am going to beg you to go do this. Go into your backyard, go find a soccer field, and try to hit this 30-yard diagonal pass and put it in a controllable area. That is such a good ball. And does it end up being a skewed shot from Pasher? Yes. But I am more impressed with Evan Lasso here. I mean, this is not an easy ball, but these are the balls he has been doing. When he is clicking and he is going right, this is what he's able to do. He's able to create those moments to let somebody else do their job. All right, here's a moment from North Carolina. It's a ball into the back post, and this is, again, showing one of those quick transition moments, and this was awesome. When we talk about transitions, this is what we're talking about. Defense into offense. Fast breaks if you're a basketball person. Here is a ball into the back post. Legion have 3 players in the box. Everybody's just kind of crashing down onto everything. Lasso takes a touch, is able to win the ball. It gets over to Trejo, who takes a fantastic touch, takes 2 defenders with him. 2 defenders. And look at that ball. And if we're being really honest here, Damas should be scoring. This is the ruthlessness. This is when we talk about ruthlessness. This is ruthlessness. And watch Trejo at the bottom of the screen. He just falls. I just saw a man fall to his knees at a Buc-ee's. Like, but again, transitions, defense into offense. This is what we're talking about. And this is the magic of Danny Trejo. This is why you bring a guy like him in. This ball goes out, and Lasso, first touch is not amazing, but he's able to be physical, win the ball back. And look how fast Trejo turns this into something. It's 3-on-2, but it did not matter. I mean, he pulls two defenders and plays a brilliant ball into Damas, who really should be scoring. This should be 1-0. It should be 1-0. But that was a positive transition. That was defense into offense, but it had a lack of ruthlessness at the very end of it. It cost Legion a goal. But earlier on this season, this transition, I don't think happens, period. Earlier on this season, you do not see a moment like this. You just don't. Again, check it out one more time. Ball into the back post. Some nice gritty defending and physicalness creates a counterattacking opportunity where Trejo sees the run, plays through Damas, and Damas doesn't score. But finishing is always the last thing to happen. Finishing is always the last thing to happen. And that's how close this Legion team is. Here's Damas doing a little bit more pressing. I don't fully. Oh, I think this is the goal. No, it's not. No. Oh, this is just some really nice defensive moment. I just like this this defense. So Legion are pressing. You see that they are really kind of getting high up in here. So they try to force in a long ball, and it kind of works. But just look at Jake Roof winning the ball. It's a great defensive recovery. Again, when we talk about defensive transitions, this is also what we're talking about. When we talk about transitions being better, long ball, it's a good ball. Roof is already back to recover. This is not a Jake Roof comment when I say I don't think this happens, but just in general, we didn't see this kind of structure. You even saw Suarez over underneath the score bug. They were ready for it. I just don't think you see that with this earlier on this season. Here's Roof, and he is over on the ball to Patterson, who plays it over to Lasso. And Lasso just plays a really nice ball over the top, man. I am just so impressed with Edwin Lasso. Both him, AJ, and Jake have been brilliant in finding these long diagonal balls. If you just watch Lasso, Jake Roof, and AJ Patterson in these matches, they do a brilliant job of finding these long balls into half spaces. Roof plays it over to AJ, who splits the defenders. This is why I do rondos, kids. And as soon as you can see Trejo at the bottom of your screen here. He is on the back of the defender, and Lasso plays it through. I'm not entirely positive that he was not offside. I don't want to be a Debbie Downer here, but I think if I'm looking at this, that's close. Anyway, so this is a brilliant ball over the top. It's not being called offside. From here, you have to score. You have one of the deadliest forwards that this league has ever had in Ronaldo Damas in the middle of the box, and you are one of the best assisters that this league has ever had in Danny Trejo. You have to connect. This ball comes across and just touch eludes him. And this is lack of ruthlessness. Over to Enzo, who does not take a shot, is still just trying to get one off, and it's blocked. This is lack of ruthlessness. It's a great moment that we talked about earlier with Damas as well. These nice transition moments, these nice long balls into half spaces. We are seeing them. It's working out. But ruthlessness in the final third eludes this Birmingham Legion squad. And I mean, this is a goal. It has to be a goal. And I understand the ball's a little bit behind Thomas. I do. It's not the best ball in the world. The right footer putting in a left foot cross. I get it. But this is not it's not the perfect ball. But here you expect somebody to take a shot. Right. I understand maybe Thomas can't take one from this position, but if you're Enzo, that has to be a shot. This has to be a shot. I don't care if you miss it. I genuinely don't. It has to be a shot. Doesn't happen. Tries to get over to, I believe, his preferred right foot. Takes a little bit too long, gets blocked away. And what eventually happens on the other end of all this? Do we see it in this clip? Yes. Eventually, what happens in the same buildup is Rafa Minskin plays a brilliant ball. I mean, just this is that's as good as it gets, man. That is so good. And I think that if you're AJ, you're trying to hold the line. You're the line setter. I think that this is a hard spot for me to really blame AJ here. Um, I think that AJ's thinking that he's holding up the line. That's kind of his role here. But I also think that by the time he reacts to seeing this ball, Pedro Dolabella is already on the wrong side of him, and it's just a nice chip in. That's ruthlessness. That is ruthlessness. Again, I somebody's going to say, well, clearly the line was already set behind him. He was going to be onside no matter what. AJ does not have eyes in the back of his head. He has no idea. At this point, AJ is still looking forward, trying to play ball. He has no idea that the line is about 5 yards behind him, and he shouldn't. That may be a conversation for the rest of the back line to hold the line that AJ had set. But in the end, I think this is just a nice ball. I think Rafa Minskin just puts in just a absolute beauty of a ball. Look at this. I mean, that is just wonderful stuff. And first time, Pedro Dolabella did not need a touch to score this ball. That is ruthlessness. And if I am, by the way, if I am Delgado here, I kind of question a little bit of the going. Not really. I think that he makes the right play. I was going to say him going to ground, but he actually didn't go to ground as bad as I thought he did. I think he actually does a very good job at getting set and just sort of you're in a one-on-one. You're not expected to win that. It takes a good chip, and it was. Here is just an easy shot into McGuire from Trejo. Again, a left-footed shot. He's a right footer. But we're going to see where Legion are going to create chances from a lack of ruthlessness. Okay. Again, just not Trejo's best effort on net, but in comes the press. The press is forcing the ball back. The team is having to work through, and here comes Ronaldo. Ronaldo is forcing some balls back. Again, here comes the press. This is created because of Ronaldo Damas. A heavy touch, Damas wins it. If you are someone who is basically all who cares about the press, I don't care how much pressing Ronaldo does. Who gives an F about how much he presses? I want him to score goals. This is why you should care about him pressing. He did it at the very beginning of this film study. We talked about it. And his pressing again, closing down the goalkeeper. I don't even know if this was that bad of a moment for McGuire. It's not good, right? But look how quickly Damas closes down on him. Is it a heavy touch? Yeah. Ronaldo does a great job of getting there. And there was an instant shot. I love that, by the way. Does I don't know if it's on target, but Pasher just has a go to try to immediately finish it. Enzo does a great job of keeping his composure and just plays a really nice ball from Dom to Damas, who only needs one touch to finish. Again, that is ruthlessness. This is why this team freaking presses. If you're someone that's like, I don't care how much Damas presses, pressing doesn't win games. Bull freaking crap. The work rate of Ronaldo Damas is what creates this goal. And we saw it earlier on in this game that his work rate was going to create issues for this back line and the goalkeeper, Jake Maguire. That goal is created because of Ronaldo Damas. And I do believe this is another transition moment where a ball gets played in and Pastures over onto that right-hand side, and he plays a ball into Damas, who I don't know if he's fouled there, but this is once again just one of those look how fast they get into the attack. Just look how fast that happens. Ball one in the air over to Turnbull, into Pasher, to Enzo, to Pasher, who's able to get around a defender. And he's able to get a decent ball into Pasher, who, again, I don't know, Damas was fouled. Kind of don't care. All right, so here is when, again, good transitions lead to good chances. This is a corner kick opportunity for North Carolina. Ball goes in, headed away, tries to take a shot, pressed down, defended well, and off goes Tyler Pasher to the races. He is one of the best ball carriers this league has to offer for a reason. He goes straight into the middle, and what he does here is awesome, by the way. Again, for any young player who is watching this, watch what Pasher does. He does not just go in a straight line. He works himself into the middle of the park, and now he has two options. He has completely spread apart this defense, and he has two options to pass to. Again, this is so great. This is great stuff. If right here, if Pasher wanted to open up and maybe take a shot, that's an option because the defense is split open for him. If he wants to pass it over to Ronaldo Damas, he can. The defense is having to make decisions by moving into the middle of the park as opposed to playing the right wing position that he plays. It has created a true 3-on-2 opportunity where Pasher is able to play the ball into Trejo, who takes a nice touch forward and finishes well. That is good transitions, create good opportunities, smart play by Tyler Pasher, and a ruthlessness from Danny Trejo. We are going to see it all on display right here. Watch it again. In comes a corner kick. It is headed away by Legion. A shot comes in and is defended well, and it goes out to Pasher. Everybody's going. Pasher moves the ball into the middle of the park, forces defenders to make two choices. He has this choice of striker to play it to. He plays it to Trejo, ruthless goal. It's 2-1 because of good transitions. Really nice play from Tyler Pasher and ruthlessness. Take a drink every time I said ruthless in this film study. But that's what this is about. That's what this match encapsulated. This match was all about how ruthless can this Legion team be. In the first half, none. In the second half, you're going to see why they win 3-2. Here's another defensive moment where, check this out, you already have 5 men in the back line. If you look over on this left-hand side, you already have 5 men in the back line, including Edwin Lasso, who's sitting as that holding midfielder, and a Tyler Pasher and an Enzo Martinez already ready to defend. This is just really nice defending. And the ball goes through, and it's a one-on-one because Jake Roof makes a mistake. Let's not let that off. But he immediately recovers and saves a goal. Okay. So in terms of transition moments, This was a great transition. This was a great setup in defense. This was not a true transition, actually, but this was a really nice moment of defense. The line's set, everybody's there. Jake Roof just does not quite follow his guy immediately. He gets a little bit turned around. And this is a rough moment from Roof. He gets just kind of on the wrong side, doesn't completely follow his man. It's a nice run. But look at the recovery from Roof. It saves a goal. That is such a good recovery from Jake Roof. And we saw a couple of those in this match. This is just, even when this Legion team made mistakes, we talked about it at the very top as well. The willingness to throw your body on the line, the willingness just to go at it and just dive around in the box, put your body on the line. Roof made a mistake. Roof made a massive mistake that should have been one-on-one with the goalkeeper, and that effort to get back and just get a touch on it saves a goal. It's awesome. Here's a nice bit of press going on from Legion, and it ends up leading to a quick transition moment for North Carolina. Now, this is a true transition, which I just now noticed. If you watch the scorebook in a minute, I didn't notice that the North Carolina commentator's name was Andrew Tate, not spelled that way, but that's so unfortunate. I hate that for you, Andrew. That you have a pretty good name that's been ruined. Anyway, so this is a true transition moment for Legion, and they're trying to get back into defense. The press has left them a little bit out of shape, and you're going to see how quickly they can recover. Bang, already 4-man backline, already there. And you are looking at 5 men in the back line. And at this point, the press has won. This transition was won by Legion. Why? Why do I say that? Because the goal of Pedro Dolabella right here is to cut inside and try to split the middle of the park or try to find a ball over the top. But instead, the press came in and he's forced to do an outside the boot pass where now this ball is in the wings. Legion won. There are 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 players behind the ball. One of them's off screen. You can't see them. You can see their shadow on the far left. Legion won. Transition won. Ends up being a pretty good little cross in and one of those low-driven balls in. But at this point, if you are relying on one of these low-driven balls to create a goal-scoring opportunity, the defense won. The shot comes in, it's not close. These are why good transitions matter. The team was able to recover defensively, able to get in good positions. The moment this ball goes out wide, Legion won. Because look at how many players were already back behind the ball, defensive solidity, already getting involved. Defensive win by Legion. All right. Here was another fantastic transition to Pasher over to Lasso, who Lasso goes all the way up top to Ronaldo Damas. And this is just absurd by Damas, by the way. This does not go out of bounds. It barely stays in. They showed an overhead, which I did not include in this. But Damas works his way around, and he is in a great spot. And this is where ruthlessness shows up. Touch, and he almost takes one too many. This was almost another opportunity ruined. This was another one of those where we almost live to regret the moment. But it all starts back here where ball goes out to Pasher, who plays it to Lasso. Lasso, again, does a fantastic job of finding the ball into that half space. This time it's Ronaldo Damas on the end of it. And just watch this. Oh, that's so good. And Damas is able to go and play a ball across where if he was left-footed, this is a goal, right? And we saw this a little bit with Prosper Kasim as well, where there'll be fairly easy chances that because he was left-footed only, that it would go to his right foot and he wouldn't score. I he's just trying to get his balls to his right foot, and everybody knows it. And that touch just kind of eludes him, but he gets a little bit physical and he's able to take a shot. And is it kind of an own goal? Yes, but I don't care because good transitions create good opportunities. Good transitions create good opportunities. This good transition, this moment of brilliance by Lasso into Damas, where Damas is able to keep the ball from going out of play. From right here at this moment, it's a 2-on-2. Damas looks like he's being forced outside, stays in. It is still a 2-on-2. Advantage Legion is now 2-on-1, or it's 1-on-2 really, and a 1-on-1 with a keeper. Good transitions create good opportunities. The back line was all out of sorts again. This is the third time we've seen this happen. This is the third time we've seen this back line just completely discombobulated. It leads to a goal. All right. Here's another fun bit of buildup where we have Suarez on the back line, and he's going to look for that long ball into the half space. This one's fun. I think you're going to be able to see Pasher make the run here. So as soon as Suarez gets this ball, the goal of Pasher is to make a long run in behind into this half space. Okay. Everybody knows at this point. The goal of Pasher is to make a long run. And so as soon as Suarez gets it, he also knows that that ball is going to be there. So he gets a touch up. Turnbull's coming into Suarez to create a passing option, which also brings in a North Carolina defender. Check this out again. When you watch this bottom right-hand side, Pasher's running out, Turnbull's running in. There's a defender coming in with Turnbull. Who's with Pasher? Absolutely nobody. Who was supposed to be with Pasher? The guy that was on Turnbull. This is awesome. Runner goes out, defender comes in. Who's on Pasher? Absolutely no one. That was awesome. And Thomas just gets a little bit tripped up. If he's just able to hold his balance just a little bit better, and he does a good enough job to try to get a cross in, by the way. That was impressive. I forgot they actually got a cross into this. But this is what's so nice about this team, man. Again, Pasher goes out, Turnbull comes in comes a defender. It's a nice ball over the top. If Suarez was not off balance, having to go kind of fight off the press here, this ball is even better, and I think it's one-on-one with the goalkeeper. This is awesome, man. Like, this is just great football. This is great football. Here's a long ball in by Delgado, and I believe this was another transition moment. And look at Suarez, man. That is some great stuff. That's a 19-year-old. That's a freaking 19-year-old. Again, this is just good transition defense. Ball goes out. It's a little bit of a swing and a miss. It looks like, is that AJ? Kind of gets a little bit beat. It's header back, and the ball is through. Not only does Suarez just outbody, he wins a foul too. That is just great stuff by Thiago Suarez. That was awesome. That was just awesome. Here's another attacking moment from North Carolina where the ball is out wide. Again, kind of win Legion, but this is where we talk about putting the body on the line. Look at this. Multiple players just falling down into the box, just trying to get their body in front of the ball. This is the grittiness, nastiness that Mark Briggs has been wanting. Look at this. Ball in. It's a good cross, by the way, and I can't tell who that is. I think that might be Suarez. He goes to ground, blocks the ball, it goes across, and that's Jake Roof again, just putting his body on the freaking line. He's done that a lot for Legion. There's a notorious story about him putting his body on the line. I don't know. If you know, you know. But just willingness to put it all on the freaking line. This is the nastiness and grittiness that Briggs has been clamoring for, and you're getting it. It's so good. This is just good football. All right, here is what was bound to be the most controversial moment of the night. Um, Ball goes out of play. Everybody puts their hand up. It was so far out of bounds and just tapped it in. And then the referee just like didn't signal. Whatever. Uh, I thought Briggs was going to kill somebody. Check out the side volley, by the way, from Delgado. There's not many chances that a goalkeeper gets to put on like one of those frozen rope side volleys. Again, a lot of people say he's the best passer on the team. Just this is fun. Just what a freaking frozen rope straight to your striker up top. I think that was Preston. That is what is that? About 60 yards? 60 yards on a freaking frozen rope straight to your striker. That is unreal. This is what I'm talking about. When I say Delgado's a special player, that is an unbelievable ball. This is an unbelievable ball. Watch this. Frozen rope, 60 plus yards straight to your striker. Arguably kicks it too hard for him to control. It creates a kind of a scoring opportunity where Enzo and Centeno just weren't on the same page. But freaking watch it again. I'm absolutely losing my mind over this. This is so good. That was awesome. That was just awesome. All right. I believe this is the goal for North Carolina. Oh, no. This was another nice defensive moment, actually. Suarez, again, stands up a defender, forces him out, forces him into that winged area. We talked about this before. The moment they get out in the wings, it's win Legion. Suarez played so well tonight. This is like a day and a half later anyway. Again, just kind of a transition moment. Legion trying to see out this match. Kind of a sloppy pass by Mensah. It's an extremely sloppy pass by Mensah, which leads to a defensive transition for Legion. And Conway looks like he might have gotten the better. I mean, he has split the defenders very well. And this, again, has kind of happened because Mensah just puts in a bad ball. Frankly, just a really bad ball. Just straight into the heart of the midfield. And it's a nice ball that splits the defenders. Can't really blame anybody but Mensah here. But look at Suarez, man. 19 years old. God, that's so good. Okay. Here's the goal. And this is where I say it was 89 minutes and 30 seconds of fantastic football from Legion. It looks like they just kind of switch off. Looks like Legion just kind of switch off here a little bit. It's still nice though. On the ball is going to be Jaden Cervania here, Legion's first ever academy graduate, and he puts in a nice ball. Like this is a very nice ball, and Roof kind of gets caught looking a little bit. I think he doesn't really go and attack this ball in the air. It's kind of hard for him to do so, to be fair, but because there's a little bit of inconsistency. So if you look here, you see Suarez is kind of leaving Roof covering two players a little bit on his own. Roof does not quite attack this ball like maybe he could have. That's a hard ball. And don't get me wrong, this is a nice assist to Conway. Like that is just a nice touch. Uh, it is a little bit of being switched off and a little bit of just brilliance. This is just a nice ball. A little bit of ball watching happens, and it's a goal off of Delgado. But in the end, we're able to pick apart two moments that, I mean, if we're being really honest here, there were so many positive offensive moments and positive defensive moments that it's not like we are saying that Legion were awful all night and they only got beaten 2 times. Legion legitimately only made 4 mistakes in this match. I would call 4 mistakes, and they got beat on 2 of them because on the other 2, the backline made up for their error. They did. I think that it was such a good showing. I'm so impressed with what this team is doing. Again, you're going to hear ruthlessness. You're going to hear transitions. You're going to hear long ball over the top. You're going to hear all those words a lot because that's how this team is going to win. And this was not the best match of the night or that this team could give you. I don't think that this was the best match of the season by this team. But when we're talking about now, where the not the best nights are getting results, Legion had a horrible night against Rhode Island and earned a draw. Legion had a very good night, but left a lot on the table versus North Carolina. If we're being realistic here, this should have been a 4-2 match, possibly 4-1 if you think that if Legion stay locked in for the last 30 seconds of the match, that's a 4-1 win. And that's not, I don't think that's insane to say. You had 3 moments where the back line for North Carolina was completely tied up in knots. You had a 2v1 with North Carolina where a shot doesn't even get put in. There was, to me, I thought there was a lot to improve on for Legion, but we're talking so positively about it. And Legion were able to walk away with a win against a team who is going to be competing for top 4 in the East on a night that was not that good. I say that good. It was a great night transitionally, but not their best night. So when I say not that good, I mean it was not their best night. It was a great night, not their best night. We have not seen the truly best of Legion yet. And that should excite you. That should excite you a lot because if you ask any team, any fan, think about this. Hey, in the middle of the season, we're going to fire your coach and you have a chance to make the playoffs. Are you happy? Yes. it you're going to fire your coach. Bad. Because the team was doing very bad. Bad. We're going to bring in a new coach. Good. Do you expect to make the playoffs after doing really bad? Not really. Legion are going to be fighting for playoffs, and if they can keep this up, they are going to be a top 4 team in the East. If Legion can keep up this level of play for the rest of the year, they will be a top 4 team in the East. Mark it, stamp it. If they play like this, they are a top 4 team. Be excited, Birmingham fans, because this is a good team. Until next time, guys, keep hammering on.